You are not alone. I'll talk about that in just a second. You know, sometimes life gets difficult. Sometimes people end up facing some pretty tough things. Sometimes people need encouragement. There are many, many ways that life can be just very, very difficult for so many people. I look at my own family, and there's people that are sick, older, having problems. There's young people that have problems. There's all kinds of things that are going on in our world, and that's just my family. When you look in a different direction, you see a different set of problems that people are dealing with. Sometimes they're struggling in their work or all of these other things. And I've said a lot of this kind of thing before, but so many times we think of ourselves as alone. And you know, we're not really alone. God gave us each other so that we could have fellowship with other Christians and friends to help us through difficult times. But even if we don't have any of those people around us, God promises to never leave us or forsake us. Now, I realize that that's pretty difficult to get a grasp of. You know, it's not like I can look over to the right and see Jesus sitting there and have a audible conversation with him. He doesn't pat me on the back. I mean, he could if he wanted to, but he doesn't generally reach over and physically pat someone on the back or give them a hug like we see in pictures. But the problem that we have is in our limited thinking. We don't think about the presence of God in our life. What we want is something we can see, something that's tangible, something that's right there that we can identify in a physical way or an audio way. But what we tend to forget is that God has talked to us through His Word. And if we focus upon His Word, that verse that tells us that He will never leave us or forsake us takes on a whole new meaning. When we lift our eyes up to the mountains, where our help comes from takes on a completely different meaning. When we look at the promise that He wants to prosper us and not bring us to harm, it comes to such a complete different meaning when we realize that those words written so long ago from God and inspired by God ring true for us today. And I think that's tough sometimes as a Christian. We have a tendency to think that we're just kind of dealing with a lot of things on our own. We're never dealing with things on our own. He goes before us, and in the end, He shall be singing over us. And I think that that's the best way to get comfort. That's where the peace that passes all understanding comes from. No matter what tragedy strikes, no matter what difficulties we face, our Heavenly Father truly loves us, and we are not alone. It's hard sometimes to be a human being. But you know what? God knows that. He knows where we are, what we're going through, and what's in our heart and in our minds. He understands our anxieties. He understands our fears. And He never stops loving us. It's us with the problem. We have a tendency to forget that He's even there. Don't forget, have a great day. Be kind to each other. See you next time.